Day 4 of the HardThings project. What's up, my people? Woo! It's Saturday. How's everybody doing? Today is day 4 of the HardThings. I remembered to connect my microphone today, and it's also on, as I promised you. So, guys, today is day 4, Saturday. Today we were able to run after like a week, I think. For the ones that haven't seen the videos before, I got the shin splints in the first 2 weeks while I was trying to train for my first 10K. And obviously, then we're going to talk about the half marathon in New York in April, and the marathon, the triathlon, and the half Ironman, etc., etc. Everything until we get to the Ironman. Because this is a HardThings project, and our goal is to go from an average bodybuilder, into an athlete, right? Because that's what an Ironman is, an athlete. It's no easy feat. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard. Talking about hard, we're gonna talk about hard things today because it's only been 7 days, but it's interesting how if you're not consistent and if you don't train your body, you don't lose everything. When it comes to bodybuilding, there is muscle memory. When it comes to other type of exercises like running, your body remembers, you adapt as well, right? So it's not that, but it gets so much harder, right? You stop doing something and it gets so hard because after 7 days, I remember that just a week ago I was doing long runs for like 35, 40 minutes. I was already doing 5, 6 miles, so I was basically like finishing a 10K already, and I was feeling good. I was feeling strong. I was feeling like I could get my pace a little bit higher as well. But then today, after 7 days, I'm all excited. I'm like, okay, the shin splints are feeling better. We're gonna go back into running, and well, guess what? Not really. It's terrible. It's terrible. My coach, ChatGPT, uh, Chat told me to start slow because after getting the shin splints, then there is a process of adaptation and obviously your legs healing and everything else. So you have to come back slow. And we're working on that. So today the schedule was to warm up and then go to run for 10 to 12 minutes, depending on how I was feeling, but at a very conservative pace. So we're talking of 5 miles per hour, very slow. I should be able to finish the 10K at that pace, by the way, because I believe that they require that you do a mile in 13 minutes or less, so it should be fine. But that's not the thing. It's not the thing. We're not just trying to finish. We're trying to finish strong. Not because of ego, but because this is the first thing and the smallest one of a series of goals that we have until we get to the Ironman. And this is a lifestyle. I didn't start this channel. I did start this channel because of accountability more than getting followers, because on day 365, it's going to be more or less something like that, or day 380, we're going to have the half Ironman, the Ironman 70.3. And then based on that, we're going to define which Ironman we're going to do in 2027. So it's going to be more than 380 days for the Ironman, obviously. But it's not about the Ironman only. This is about a change of lifestyle. This is about a journey. It's an entire journey. It's about a change in my identity. And for whoever is watching, it could be also the beginning of a change in yours into the person that you want to become in the future, or the person that you know you should have been able to become long ago. But guess what? We cannot go back into the past, at least not yet, or at least we don't know, like us, like normal people. Maybe big fish, they can. We don't know. Let's not talk about that. But we cannot go back into into the past, right? So the younger, the youngest that we're gonna be is today, right now. Or for you that you're watching in your timeline, the day of today, your today. So there's no better time to start than right now. So keep in mind that anything that you've been trying to do for a long time, stuff that you have probably not poured your 100% into, that you have probably failed, but you know that if you have given your 100%, probably the outcome would have been different as well. All those things that are on top of mind, because you know that they're on top of mind, on a daily basis, you wake, oops, on a daily basis, you wake up, and that's one of the first things that come to your mind, together with the bills, together with how my performance at work is going, how my relationships are going. On top of mind, you also have those projects, those missions that probably God or the universe or yourself had for you. But it's not too late. Yes, it's not too late. You can start today. Um, and that's the reason why I started this channel, really, because I wanted to make sure um, that we can see the beginning of the journey and not just the end. Um, a lot of the things that we see on YouTube, a lot of the things that we see on social media, that is the result, that is the outcome, that is the incredible stuff that you already get to see after the whole process has happened. So when you see those type of things, you think to yourself, like, damn, like everybody is accomplishing so many great things. There's so many things that are like happening, and I'm here, I'm stuck. I don't want to get out of bed. I'm in my sofa watching the fifth episode in a row of a series that I'm probably gonna forget in a couple of years. And yeah, sometimes it's necessary, and sometimes it works, and it makes you feel good, and sometimes you need that time for yourself to relax and just do some mind numbing activity, because that's what it does, right? At that moment, you don't feel like you're supposed to be doing something, you're being entertained. But what happens when you're being entertained 100% of the time? And let me tell you what I'm talking about. What happens when you're consuming and consuming and consuming all the time? You wake up, the first thing that you look at is your phone, you open TikTok, and you start consuming videos. You start scrolling. You go to the bathroom, the same thing. Before work, after work, during lunch. You're probably having dinner with your friends, with your family, but you're still consuming. So you're getting your mind and body used to being entertained all the time. So it's natural that it becomes harder to start. What we call procrastinate, after some time, and it happens rather quickly, it starts getting very annoying, because it keeps getting harder to start something the more you wait on it, right? And that's why I think that probably when you talk to some of your friends and you tell them, "Hey, so what's going on? What's on your mind? What are you working on?" One of the first things that comes to their mind, if they're not currently working on what they're supposed to be doing, it's procrastination, right? I believe that that's probably in the top 10 most popular words for a bad reason at this time, because we procrastinate a lot, and we don't just procrastinate by watching videos or watching a movie or doing stuff that just occupies time so we don't have to do what we're supposed to be doing, but also we procrastinate by doing stuff that seems to be productive, that seems urgent, not important, urgent. It seems urgent, but it is still a way of procrastination. And this video is sponsored by Bubbly. I'm just kidding. Maybe one day. It's so good, by the way. Once I stopped drinking Coke Zero, Bubbly, that's like key, because you know you need that sparkling feeling. But anyway, let's not go off topic. So procrastination, right? And it keeps getting harder. Inevitably, it gets to a point where your negative thoughts, that negative mindset, it really comes to, hey, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing at this time. And I know what I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm still not doing it, right? So then, knowing that in the past you have started stuff, but then at some point you let yourself be driven by your emotions, that one day you woke up and you felt like it wasn't going to work out and it was going to be a waste of time and you should be doing something else, and you convince yourself, right, that that is the truth, but that's just emotions. Your identity is telling you something else. And I do believe that in some way depression and anxiety and all these mental issues that are happening more and more in modern society come from somewhere, right? And I understand that there's cases in which there's a chemical imbalance in the brain. I understand that. But I understand that most of the cases as well, and I'm a firm believer in this, come from the fact that we're just not doing what we're supposed to be doing, because everything that is happening in 2025 in our modern world, our bodies, our brains, they're not used to being stimulated by so many things. Just think about it. Every single second, 8 or 9 hours of new YouTube content is uploaded. That's insane. That means that there is just infinite amount of entertainment that you can consume every day, right? So you're scrolling and you think that there's going to be a point in which you're going to be like, okay, I'm done. Like, I've seen enough. But then you see another video and you see another video and you haven't seen them all, right? So we have to be extremely intelligent into selecting what we consume, what we're going to put our brain into. And then we have to accept that even though today's world is about connection, we might have to focus on one thing at a time. And going back to the reason why I decided to create this channel, it's exactly that. Because I decided that at one point there was so much noise in my life. I wanted to keep up with the news. I wanted to keep up with everything that was happening in my life's friends. So I was like looking at social media to make sure that I was up to date with everything. But at the same time, I was like watching CNN, constant negative news. And I said, okay, enough. I'm focusing so much on what's happening with the world, and there's just so much going on, right? Because now we have information from every single corner in the world. So it seems that if we don't watch news 24/7, or we're not on Twitter looking for news all the time, then we're not going to be up to date with what the world is going through. And we feel bad because of that as well. But sometimes it's better to focus on ourselves. Focus on the ones that are the closest to us. And the reason why I started this channel is because I said, you know what? I've been just giving my energy and my time so much to all these things that I'm telling you about, that I find myself in a state where I'm not accomplishing what I want to accomplish because I'm out of energy. And not just that, I'm finding myself anxious and depressed on a regular basis. But I knew what I wanted to do, and I knew what I was supposed to be doing. So I didn't tell you these guys yet, but in fact I closed all my social media. I know that I'm posting videos in YouTube, but I'm just posting. I'm not consuming. I'm trying to contribute in a positive way. Because I started going to a new gym, and I've been living in Bolivia for a few months, actually more than halftime of 2025. And when I came back, I started running. I started doing a certain type of training at the gym, and some young guys would approach me and ask me, "Hey, what are you training for?" And I will tell them, "Hey, this is the plan." And they were like, "Oh man, like I wish I could do that as well." And I was like, "Well, let's do it," right? Uh, but they didn't know how to start. They didn't know what to do. They just needed some guidance. And I said, "Hey, what if, as a way of self accountability, I start this channel so I can show first myself that I can confirm my identity by being consistent and by showing the world, thus myself, keeping myself accountable, that I'm not just going to be able to achieve what I'm saying I'm going to be able to achieve, but more. And also at the same time, trying to be a positive influence in today's world, because there's just so many negative things that we have access to, right? Starting from kids, like kids in their hands, in their phone, they have access to all types of content. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? And I told myself, hey, what if there will be more content that is inspiring to our kids, to our young people? What if there will be more channels that try to influence people into doing the right thing, into focusing themselves on their goals, trying to motivate them into them achieving their best version? And that's how this started. And it is just starting. Today is just day 4. But I hope and I pray that one day, day 4 is going to be day 4,000, and that we're going to be able to take this to new heights. And in the personal side, obviously, there will be new goals, there will be new adventures. I'm just looking for what's the most uncomfortable at this time and trying to do that. So it's going to get very entertaining. But that's not the final goal. I realized that these days that the final goal is to just be a positive influence for somebody else. If I can positively influence one person, just one, into bettering themselves, into waking up from that cloud and deciding that today is the day that I start, like this dude did. No matter where I am, no matter my current situation, I just start. If just one person does that by watching these videos, then all this was worth it. So today's day 4, went to run, and it was hard, man. It was hard. Just 12 minutes, and I felt like I've never run. I was feeling very heavy, but after that, I did it. I completed it. I didn't feel any shin splints pain, so that was fantastic. That was great news. And after that, I had a pull day, so that was back, biceps. I did 10 minutes of cycling after that, so you can flush the legs. And then the usual recovery, right? The 30 minutes of compression boots, the 10 minutes of jacuzzi and the 10 minutes of sauna, and a cold shower. And off to work. Because keep in mind, if you want to achieve your dreams, if you want to get to the heights where you think you're capable of going, you have to do stuff that people are not willing to do. And that's discipline. That's not always doing what you want to do, which is normally what the flesh wants to do, which has to do with pleasure. So we don't want to follow a hedonistic life. That's very important. And we're going to have time, we're going to have a lot of time to talk about that. But I believe that not necessarily living a 100% stoic life, but having that as a guidance is key towards achieving our goals. Because going back to the beginning of the video, when we were talking about so much distraction, so much going on with social media and everything else, it happens that in such a competitive world that we live on today, I believe that it's never been easier to being the best at what you do and accomplishing what you want to accomplish, because a lot of people are not doing it. We live in a world that is very comfortable. You know, you just get on your phone and you're able to order whatever you want, and people are just not willing to put in the time. They're not willing to put in the sacrifice, which means that if you do, it doesn't matter if you're not the most intelligent, it doesn't matter if you are not the most talented, just by showing up and being disciplined and consistent and doing what you're supposed to be doing, you are already in the top 10%. Another topic is that you don't see the results immediately. But if you consistently show up and you only make sure that you show up and you do your best, you don't have to worry about anything else. Guys, today was day 4 of the HardThings project, the day 4 of the next 4,000. And I hope you guys have a great Saturday. We'll see you tomorrow for day 5. Tomorrow is Sunday, so I have a little bit of time. I don't have to work. So you're going to have a good editing of everything that I've done all this week. And you're actually going to have a decent and also a little bit more entertaining video, let's say. And that's going to be every Sunday, all right? Thank you, guys.